rolling back segregation. What are we going to do?
Not one goddamn thing. Not one goddamn thing. I speak for myself, just my personal opinion. But I've been speaking about this and I spoke to leaders. And everybody I speak to say it's probably going to be the best thing that ever can happen to black people. A mandate for us to unite without consumption power. We got the greatest consumption power in the world. And you going to mandate us to unite? Yeah. Ever since we integrated, our economic state has been worse. Our families have been torn apart. And when we made a decision to chose that, we got what we got now. And everybody that I see, that's why you don't hear no outcry from black people about this new executive order about segregation. I don't think we give a damn about it. I know I certainly don't. I ain't for it. I ain't pushing for it, but I ain't to get it. Correct me, tell me if I'm wrong in the comments.
One of the biggest things that I realized that nobody's talking about when it comes to segregation is that we don't mind it. It's white people that got the problem. Because when y'all realize that we literally don't need y'all get mad. We've created thousands of thriving black cities and countries. Because we can do it without y'all just don't get it. Y'all need to be all up in our space and all up in our mix. For what reason? Because when I've gone to primarily white spaces, I'm sorry, but I'm not impressed. But y'all can't say the same for us. Like, there's been over 100 massacres on black cities and towns simply because y'all are outraged that we can thrive, that we can come together, and that we can do things no matter what the circumstances are. Because last time I checked, it's white people that mainly benefit from government assistance. But y'all love to say it's us, don't y'all? But instead, we can take the bare minimum and create enormous things. Can you not do the same? I guess not, without the government's help.
White people, how do you feel about the segregation ban? I already know how people of color feel in other minorities, but what about y'all? How do you feel about this? Like, are you happy? I know that's kind of like a setup, huh? Because if you're all like, yeah, and I'm like, oh, we found him. But no, I'm like curious, like, because I mean, it doesn't really affect y'all unless you have like a partner or something like that, or kids who are obviously people of color. Other than that, just straight up white people, no relations to any people of color. How do you feel about this? Are you just like, damn, that's crazy? I mean, are you shocked? Like, I'm laughing because me and my people, we've already been through shit. So it's like, at the end of the day, I have faith that we will be okay. I guess for the Karens and the Kevins out there, it's like good. That way you don't have to be mad at any black person or other person of color coming in your territory and questioning them. You get to just chill and deal with your own people.
Hello guys, welcome to the Real What List. My name is Betty. Let me say something that might shock a lot of people. Recently, a federal rule that used to forbid separate facilities for contractors, like separate waiting areas, dining spaces, or restrooms based on race, was removed. That's a change causing all the reactions. Black people are not panicking. Black people are not afraid. And that calm is exactly what's making others angry.
Hello, brothers and sisters. Welcome back to the channel. I'm hoping that you're doing great from whatever you're watching me from. I'm your host and presenter, Chitek Stories. Now, people expected that black people will fear, and that's the most fearful thing that black people can ever heard when they hear a question or hear something related with separation or segregation at the same time. But I think what we are envisioning today, we're envisioning a group of black people that know their greed. We're envisioning a group of black people that know their history, and they know that this segregation or separation is going to serve them as compared to like coming together. And since people also learned that they really need black people in these spaces, they really need black people for the activities to go on, for everything to run, like the economy. You understand, if you're a person who have resided in the United States or know how economic situation of the United States go on, you understand that black Americans play a vital role in running the economy of the United States. So that being said, you understand that there are a couple of things that this other group of people cannot do when they try to be separated from black people. So black people initially didn't know, like, they are one of the greatest people. But after a while, they studied the patterns. They saw how these people operate, and they saw that these people are so much obsessed with us. So what can we do? Because if a person keeps on saying that you're not great, but they are obsessed with you, they're always wanting to know what you do, they are always trying to be on your business, then there is something about you. There is something about you that they can never get. And now they need that thing. So when people said, or when white people say that they want to separate because, oh, black people are ratchet, black people do this, black people do that, I think you add all those stereotypes at a time when when white people were trying to like say that they want to separate from black communities because this is how they perceive the black communities. But there's the other side of the reality. And the other side of the reality is that they just thought, but that's not what actually happens. What actually is happening is that these people are realizing that they cannot stay, they cannot survive without black people. And so this leads us to our today's discussion. They fear black separation. They fear black segregation more than anybody else. Brothers and sisters, join me in this conversation. I'm your host and presenter Tech Stories. So let's get into it. I'll be back with my thoughts and commentaries in regards to this. I'm your host and presenter Tech Stories. So let's watch the video. I'll be back.
Then people want us to be mad so bad. I don't know. Segregation being bad don't sound too bad to me. You mean to tell me I don't have to guess if my mac and cheese got raisins in it or not? You mean to tell me when I walk into a bathroom, it's going to be clean with R&B playing? You mean to tell me I get to pick the best restaurants to go to? I don't have to guess. Bro, we're about to be living like the kings and queens that we are. And I feel like this is going to backfire real bad. Because realistically, we make everything. Nobody is going to want to go to the other side. Even the people that aren't on that side, but are, the ones with common sense, they're going to be so mad. They're going to be on one side with the boring cookout and then looking at the other side with our cookout. And they're going to be looking like, why did y'all do this? Me personally, I feel like segregation being back is just grounds for we're about to take over everything. You know what? I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. I really can't because that sounds lit.
I keep seeing a whole bunch of people that don't look like me making videos saying that we need to do something, we need to march. No, we do not. We don't need to do nothing. The same way Target played and we took away that dollar, we'll just take away our dollar from everybody else who wants to play in our faces and play with us. Go ahead and put them signs up. We don't care nothing about that segregation. Put them signs up so we can take away our dollar. And you can learn just like Target learned. We do not care. We are resting for the next 4 years. We're resting, honey. We don't care nothing about what y'all do. We don't care.
Many expected fear, desperation, and panic to follow the change. But that's not what's happening. Instead, the response is calm, perspective, and understanding.
Racist people don't really want segregation. Segregation is drawing a line in the sand where black people live on this side and white people live on that side. They don't want segregation. They want selective segregation, servitude, and unfair treatment. Segregation is what happened to Black Wall Street. See, that's what they don't want. Here's the big difference. Racists want you to live where they put you, and they want you to work towards the advancement of their society over here. So we want you to live here, but work in the coal mines, in the fields, and work in the construction and the hard labor. And then when you get done, leave over where we are and go stay where we told you to stay. And also we want unfair treatment. Look up to us as we look down on you. But the second we start having our own banks, having our own doctors, having our own farms, letting the money that we create inside our community continue to circulate inside our community and build our own community up, that's an issue. That's why Black Wall Street gets burned down, because what we're doing over here doesn't benefit what they're doing over here. Like, I gotta build my own thing up. No, we want people low enough on the totem pole financially and educational wise that we can use them to be the burden bearers of our society. That extends past color.
Okay, so I have seen some really, really great think pieces and narratives and jokes about this whole segregation thing. But I want to be able to let you know that the whole segregation thing has nothing to do with black people and has everything to do with white people. Follow me, okay? So it reminds me of Toni Morrison, who is my favorite author. She is a black author, but she is my favorite author, period. And she was being interviewed by a white woman. And essentially the white woman asked, like, when are you going to elevate your writing and include the white perspective in it, like, or the right, or the white gaze in it, as she would say. And Toni Morrison replied that I'm not. Because Toni Morrison believed that her books could be read by everybody, but she wrote her books for Black people. And if you're not a part of Black culture, there are certain things within our culture that mandates explanation so that those that are not a part of our culture can understand it. Toni Morrison took that out of her writing. So she said, if you get it, you get it. If you don't, then you don't. But I'm only writing through the Black lens for the Black experience and the Black gaze. That is it. And so when the lady asked that question, Toni Morrison said, I'm never going to do that. And the reality is that Black people live very, very full lives, and white people aren't even a thought. Like, Black people tend to live their lives in a way where we do not think about what white people are doing. And that is very true. It is very factual. A lot of Black people only interact with white people because they go to work with them. Right? So if they do not work with white people and you're Black, how many times are you socializing with white people outside of work? For a lot of Black people, you don't really socialize a lot of times at work, after work, with white people. And so when you have that reality, then it begs for you to be able to go down a line of questioning, right? Which is, what is the issue with segregation? And I've seen some white people on here that was like, white people should be saying that segregation is bad. And the reality is that no, that's not really the problem, right? Because the problem is that we were separate and not equal. That's the problem. It was the maltreatment. Because the reality is that we are no longer segregated, but yet we are still mistreated. We still are not offered the same amount of opportunities. We are still not paid the same rate. We are still not afforded the equality of it. So what white people did was, okay, fine. We will desegregate. It's fine. But once Black people entered these spaces, we were still being mistreated. And so the question could actually be, if we had equality, right? If we had equal access to buying land, equal access to be able to garner wealth, equal pay, and we were never desegregated, would desegregation actually be necessary? And there is when you take a look at what was happening with the Tulsa riot, is the fact that Black people were equal and separate. Right? They had land, they had businesses, they were accruing wealth. It was the wealthiest Black community. And white people who were not a part of the community, very much separate, and yet we are equal, right? They have banks, they have people that build, they have people that, grocery stores, they have houses, they have neighborhoods, they have milkmen, they have mailmen. White people have their own neighborhoods, white people have their own businesses, white people have their own groceries, white people have their own things, separate but very much equal. And white people looked over and said, what are they doing over there? And bombed it. Right? Because otherwise, if Black people continue on prospering on their own, why would any Black person say, I need to be over there? There's an argument for that. And so then when you look further, taking a look at desegregation, right? Whose lives improved due to closer proximity of white and Black people? White people. Their lives improved. Their logic improved. All of a sudden, they begin to be enlightened on the reality of the fact that they themselves were lied to. Otherwise, had they not come into proximity with Black people, there is no reason for them to believe that their ancestors ever did anything wrong. Or there's also no reason to believe that they are more like Black people than what they were told. Because many, many years ago, the Republican Party right? They said that the way that you are able to steal from poor white people is to convince them that they're better than black people. And if you can convince them of that, you can steal money from out of their pockets and they would never notice. So here we are, where we are no longer desegregated. And you see all over this app where you have white people that are learning a lot about historical truths that black people already knew. We already knew these things. But you have white people on a daily that are like, I didn't know that. That's not what I was taught. I wasn't taught that, right? You have whole religious sects of people that were literally taught that the Civil War was not about slavery. You literally have all of these white people that had no clue that Juneteenth existed, or why it existed, or how many years it actually took post-emancipation for the last slave to actually be freed. Proximity has caused for a lot of the misinformation fed to white people to perpetuate racism, to be dismantled. And so you literally have people that are white nationalists. I need you to follow. You literally have people that are white nationalists that are now running the Republican Party, right? In order for them to bring white people back into subjugation, we have to separate them from minorities, because they are learning truths that causes it to be extremely difficult for us to tell them that black people are subservient. Because proximity means that you are able to identify where we overlap. Now they're understanding the humanity of minorities. And now they're not going to go along with the Aryan beliefs that white people are the elite race and they are better than another ethnic group and they deserve to have things by virtue of them being white. Do you see how segregation has nothing to do with black people and has everything to do with getting white people back in line? Are you understanding what's going on here? Because it's never for the sake of black people, which is why black people is like, we cool. Segregate, separate, illuminate, elucidate, do whatever you got to do. And that is a very true reality. Because we have only known desegregation. But we have also only known that when we're in your proximity, we are still killed. We are still murdered. We are still mistreated. We are still shunned. We do not have the same access, even though we are in closer proximity. So if our lives have not changed by becoming in closer proximity, why would we continue to be close? Okay, separate us. But you have white people that are like, no, segregation is wrong. Why? Because your life has changed because of proximity. Are you understand what I'm saying to you? Do you get this now?
Brothers and sisters, welcome back to the channel. I'm hoping that you are doing great from whatever you're watching me from. I'm your host and pray, Center Ejidek Stories. Now, thank God that we are all seeing these things coming to reality. We are waking up to see everything crystal clear. Because they sold a lie to black people. And all this lie, what did it just make? It just made black people become fearful of who they are. People didn't understand their value. People didn't understand where they came from. And now you understand how all these things affect them. They are learning to own, to have. And brothers and sisters, they understand their greatness. They understand where they come from. And how black people can never give a piece of them to people, because now everyone wants a piece of cake, and the piece of cake is black people. I really don't know how dumb these people think black people were. I really don't know how they didn't understand that one day black people will be waking up to a reality that we can no longer serve you. And now we want to be our own. We want to build our communities. And for the longest time, we have heard Black American professors that have always come out to talk about this. And they've talked about something which is common. Black people need to understand that uniting itself is not important, because for the longest time, the black community and the white community, after segregation and all these things got done and people started staying together, the unity between black people and white people didn't serve black people. That's one thing that most of these professors said. And if I'm not wrong, they went on and said that the only thing that can make black Americans survive is building their own communities, is supporting their own businesses, is taking back their dollars to put it in their own businesses. And there is something powerful about that. Because when we have people like Minister Louis Farrakhan talk about it, they are said to be so much controversial. But I think the world is just getting to see the truth. The world is just getting to see all of these things crystal clear, brothers and sisters. Get to understand that that's the part of information that they didn't want black Americans to wake up to. Because when black Americans knew that, okay, we now need to build our own communities, we now need to put back our money on our communities, build our schools, build our hospitals. Now, this is driving fear to them, because all this is trying to say, that black people, you need to separate yourself from these people, because without you, ain't nothing they can do for themselves. Ain't nothing they can do for themselves. So this has been proven over time and over time and over time, brothers and sisters. So they fear because they didn't know that black people were having an awakening. And the awakening was, you as a black person, you are a melanated person, you are in the United States. All you need is a fellow melanated person who you reason with them, on the same line. Those people that you can discuss with them things that are important. Those people, and I'm not saying that all skin folks are kin folks, right? I'm not saying that. I'm trying to say, but only those black people that you can align to, those black people that you can have a strong discussion with, like those who you can have a deep development discussion, those black people that are progressive, those are the people that you need in your corner as a black person, right? So 2026, I think that there is this big awakening, and everyone is getting to realize that black people don't even fear segregation, because it's gonna do them something beautiful that I've never been seen in human history. So you get to understand all these concepts, and you get to understand how all these things work. But what I like to say is that congratulations to my brothers and sisters in the United States, because what you are you are making these people shake to their core. I understand we have white people that work hard. I don't dispute that, because in the United States we have majority of them who are rich, right? So I get that fact. But let's talk about how black people has facilitated this. Let's just talk about that. Let's just talk about the power of black people now having their own time, of building their own communities, of putting their money back into their communities. You understand how much power is in that? Just that. I think it is time for people to let black people be in their own communities. Those people who want to separate, let them go. Good for them. If they develop, good for them. But this is time for black people to now put a mark on their growth. And I think 2026 will be so much intentional. Now that majority of people are keeping to understand all this truth, I think it will only do justice if black people now recognize this and put this onto the table and say that this is what we want to work with. And now you see it happening. So brothers and sisters, please let me know honestly what you really think about this video, because these are the topics that we need to talk about. They are really, really important. And I keep on reminding you, nothing is powerful as saying black people unified. That thing is so powerful, brothers and sisters, because now it dismantles, it brings all the fears that all these people add towards black people, right? So brothers and sisters, please let me know what you think and feel about this video. I'm your host and presenter, Jitek Stories. But until then, let me see you in my next video. Peace, love, and harmony. Salute.